What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brennan. I'm BMAX45, and we're coming at you with another video. We have a discussion video here. We are talking about the Digimon TCG banned and restricted card list. We are getting a new banned and restricted card list March 16th. We've been informed that there will be one coming out, so I wanted to get ahead of that and do a speculation video on what would be getting hit potentially, what we're going to see from this ban list, what I personally would like to see from this ban list maybe, and just look at all the different things we have and just talk about, you know, what could happen this coming week. And of course, it's the 11th today. I thought it would be coming out Friday, but it's not coming out Friday because that is the 14th. So it's actually coming out Sunday. So we'll see if they actually release it on the site or if it just gets released on Facebook. I'm assuming it gets released on the site, but you never know with them. But we're going to look into it here. We're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to go through and we're going to start with looking at what is on the list and just seeing if anything we think might actually come off of it. And then we'll go into my cards that I kind of just figured might be potential hits or things that people are going to be talking about. Now, I might have missed stuff, and if there is, please, you know, drop a comment down below. Let me know what I might have missed. I just kind of thought of decks that had massive amount of tops, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in the video. And so ones that had massive amount of tops, event to event to event in the last 6 months, and you know, we'll talk about it. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. All right, well, let's get into it here. We're gonna go through the ban list. The last one was on August 31st, so it's been over 6 months since the last ban list. I don't know when this ban list is gonna go into effect. If it's gonna be March 16th or if it's gonna be later on, because we have Worlds this month, so it might be like going into effect April 1st, April Fool's ban list. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if we're going to see any hits to any cards that are doing well in the Japanese meta now, because we're going to be in the same kind of format. We could see one where we get a ban list and it has some cards from BT20 that are doing well in Japan right now, even though we just got BT20 and haven't had any tournament experience with the deck to see what's kind of going on here. But so last couple cards that were restricted to one, you had Ukkomon and Louis. I don't think those cards are coming off the list. They're too broken, not coming off the list. I wouldn't say Hammerspark or Awakening of the Golden Knight is either, although we just got a new option card for Armor Form, or for basically Magnamon X, which basically does the same thing that this did. So yeah, we'll see. I don't think either of those cards are coming off the list, especially not with the new option card for this deck. I don't think it's happening. Lunamon, I wouldn't say you know what? They could potentially try to put this one back up, just because Lunamon hasn't been doing anything since they hit this card. Really hasn't been doing a lot, and the deck might be power creep by now, but you never know. So you could see this come back, but I'm not banking on it. Digimomon's doing really well. This format and really the last format doesn't take a lot of tops, so I'm not thinking things are going to get hit in it, but I don't see them putting this one back up as long as that deck is actually doing good. I don't see them changing the Gabumon stuff personally. This is in place because it needs to be, so it's not going to change, although I do feel like we do need a potential other banned pairs in the game, so we'll see if there's going to be new ones like this. Ukkomon, yeah, that's not going to come out. Pokemon, you never know that they could potentially bring this back. It's been over a year since the set came out, so it could be power creeped. So we'll see if it's still a problem. Probably not, I would say. Gabumon X Antibody, I feel like this card potentially, I mean, this is where you need a semi-limit. You could try put this at 2, but I don't know if they'll ever do that. So I don't know if these cards are coming out. I could see like one of them at least coming off the list. Personally, that card never needs to come off the list. In fact, it just probably needs to be banned outright, just for good measure. just don't ever bring that card back. And then so the Gabumons, these are the Gabumons where their abilities aren't once per turn. So I feel like those are staying. Geo Gray, it would be nice, especially after they hit TK, because the reason this card went down was because he was so good in Yellow Vaccine. It'd be nice, again, it'd be nice if they could semi-limit a card, because I think this was definitely a contender that could go back to 2 and be tested before anything else. Mock Gaugamon, I don't see that card coming back. Well, Mirage is a thing, although if they ever hit Mirage, I think this card could probably come back. No to Eismon Scatter Mode. Just too good of a purple card. Savior Huckmon's back at 3, so that's... And this card's kind of irrelevant now, which is funny. Same with Tommy. Both cards are irrelevant. Blossomon, Blossomon's not coming back because Bloomlord's actually picking up speed, so not coming back at all. The Impmon, I could potentially see them bringing back this Impmon. There's so many different Impmons in the game now, and Beelzemon isn't really doing anything, even with the new support. I would say they could probably bring that card back again. Another card you could test it too if you guys decide to put a semi-limit in. Garurumon, not happening. It's not coming back. It allows you to close out games. Yeah. Grand Quagamon, that could probably come back. I think Digiverse is bad, so I personally think that could come back. You might see some Grandis play. I think this card's probably power creeped too much. I mean, technically you still have the potential to OTK, so maybe I'm being a little bit too generous with that. Again, another card I would say that if they had a semi-limit, they could test it too, and if it doesn't do anything, then you could bring it back to 4, but, that'll never come back, and that we're actually talking about that card, but that'll never come back. In fact, the only way it would go is to 1. Sunrise Buster, I think that could come back. I don't think that's as good of a card as, you used to run 1 in Shine Gray, but I don't even think you run the 1 now. This is potentially another one too that could be unlimited. I don't know with the new support, the way the deck's going, if this is still good. Crossheart hasn't done anything in a long while, so again, that's something that I feel like could come back. If not, again, semi-limit would be a good way to test that. Jet Sylphie just needs to be I think that card needs to be unlimited. It's just not... I don't think that card will ever come back. Not with high-level monsters. Reinforcing Boost. I feel like Reinforcing Boost doesn't need to be on the list anymore. Ice Wall doesn't see as much play as it used to, but I think it's good to keep this card at 1. That, again, Bloomlord, never come back. That potentially could use to get banned completely out of the game. Eismon, I don't know if they hit the other Eismon, I don't know if there's any point in keeping this on the list, personally. But that's it for the cards that are on the list. Now we're going to go to my choice cards of what potentially could get hit. And not everything on this list actually needs to get hit. We're just going to talk about the deck in general and cards that potentially need to see some kind of change. Now, Lunamon, Coronamon, I say this because I think the Mirage engine is a problem. I think it's too effective in too many red/blue decks. So I don't know what the overall fix is. Is it the Sunmon Egg? Is it the Luna Corona? Does one of them need to see a hit so that you don't have 8 copies? Is it the Tamer? Should the Ko-Sayo go to 1? That is a powerful Tamer that lets you do crazy plays, and it can digivolve. You can potentially digivolve the Light Claw Night Fang into a non-Light Claw Night Fang Digimon. So if you can get around it to have your level 5 on top, you can go into your level 6 for free, and it can be anything, and it can be super good. So I feel like the Tamer is probably the hit, because you don't necessarily want to hit these guys, but they are very powerful. So I'm just kind of speculating that the Tamer is probably the right option, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the egg, and you have to play the other egg, or maybe it's one of these guys. It's such a good engine, and it works in so many other decks. I feel like there needs to be something potentially that gets hit in that. This took a lot of slots, and you're seeing it being used in other ways, like the Dragon Links, like even Ukkomon. Now people are playing this engine for the new Ukkomon. It needs to get looked at. I really feel something in it potentially is allowing for too much advantage in a lot of decks. Ukko, I feel like BT16 Ukko is so good. I feel like it could go to 1. I feel like it would hurt a lot of decks that don't have that early game steam, that don't care about your level 3s and your stack generally, like red hybrid or something that would definitely get hurt. That isn't at the top of its game. It takes spots, but it doesn't do overly well. It isn't taking like half or more of the top 16, and that's what we're talking about. Decks that consistently during the last format, all the way from August till now, would take a good like we're talking about like half, like 6, 4 to 6. Or 4 to 8 out of the last top 16, like taking between like 25 to 50% of the top 16. And a lot of decks play Ukkomon in it. A lot of those decks, just as they're good in Red Hybrid, and they help Red Hybrid, take 1 or 2 spots into regionals. This card helps some decks that take half. So I feel like Ukkomon potentially to 1 is a viable target. It would suck for a lot of other decks, but it would also suck for a lot of the decks that are taking a lot of the slots. Purple Hybrid being one of them. Mirage Galaxy, Leviamon when it was super powerful, and so many other decks. So I think this is definitely a good choice. We're talking Imperialdramon. Now there's a bunch of cards. You have the Imperialdramon with Partition, which is a very, very good card that helps you just close out for game. You have the Ken Davis that lets you play a Wormmon or a Vmon at the start of your turn, allowing you to play Digimon for free, combo up and get into your DNA super cheap and effective. And then you have the level 4s from BT12, which give you memory when you DNA Digivolve, allowing you to keep turn. Now, I generally think that these two are the prime target, because I feel like you don't hit a lot Partition. I feel like that's a bad move, and I could be wrong. They could hit this, but I feel like that you can't hit the guy with Partition. He's just too good. You do that, you absolutely kill the deck, and that's not what they want. I feel like the Tamer 2 is really good. I feel like this is the potential other option if they don't hit the level 4s. I personally feel like the level 4s is the right move, but if they're not going to do that, I feel like this is potentially the move that they do without having to hit the Imperialdramon, is they hit that to 1. I feel like these at 1 would create for a lot more play options, because now you got to potentially figure out what other XVs or Stingmons you want in the deck. If you're just going to go hard on EX1 and the starter deck 1, and then have 1 each of these, or if you're going to put armor forms in, or you're going to play some of the stuff from BT16, a lot of different options anyways. So that's just one of the things we have to look into here. But I feel like these two going to 1 would definitely affect how you play the game, because you're not always going to be able to keep turn with that 2 memory gain. So I feel like that's the option for that. And Imperialdramon is not taking as many spots as it used to, so potentially this could miss the ban list, but it does take spots still consistently, and it was taking at least 25% plus from all the way last June up until really we got into the purple hybrid format. That's when it kind of dropped off the map a little bit, but it has come back and taken some events and had decent numbers. I know there was 2 top 8s in the PPG Ultimate Cup that I did in February, but there was none at Nationals, so that in the top 16. So that's kind of what I mean, like how it falls off. Purple hybrid, super strong, really great deck. I don't know exactly what would get hit in this deck. I feel like if you hit these guys, you're completely killing the deck. So I don't think that these guys need to get hit. I just think the combo pieces that help these guys be good need to get hit. Maybe one of the options, and I didn't think about putting that down here, Koichi. I feel like maybe this Koichi is one of the problems. Maybe they hit the Koichi to 1, and then you have to max out on the other Koichi, which is not as good and less memory effective, especially since the other Koichi is only good if you play a lot of hybrids. So I feel like that could potentially change the deck. So I feel like Koichi could be a target if you don't want to have to hit these guys. I feel like Jack Raid and Calling are potential hits that make this deck so good. Jack Raid, the memory game. Calling, like I said, it's a busted purple card. It's busted in every purple deck. So I feel like that could potentially see a full ban, outright ban, potentially. And the Jack Raid is definitely up on the chopping block. So those are potential options for that deck. Not sure what they're going to do, but, so a couple card, 7 Demon Lords is pretty good. It tops, it does really well. It's not super huge. I don't necessarily see them hitting the deck, but if they were going to, I feel like Lunamon Chaos Mode, the X6 version, allowing you to either destroy your opponent's Digimon or Tamer, or if they don't want to trash their top security and you gain recovery, is super hard. Makes it super hard to get over and get through the security stack on 7 Demon Lords when this card gets going. So I feel like this is a potential hit on that deck, just because it's so good and it floats itself, which is also really, really good. So I feel like this is definitely a decent target for that deck. Or the other one would be Shoto, and that's because of Mother Control. We put Mother down here. Mother's not going to get hit, but Shoto needs to get like an errata or get like a limited ban where you can only like play him. We can't play him with certain cards like Mother, or maybe like what is it, the Gate of the 7 Deadly Sins, because this card should have had some type of thing to limit his piercing and blocker end of turn ability to maybe like a Vortex or like a green Digimon, but it doesn't. So that's where the errata could come in. This card needs some kind of, I don't think it needs to be limited, but they need to change the text or do a band pair with other cards to make this card really, really good. Mirage just needs to go because this card wasn't even like intended to be this broken card, because they intended for like the BT13 stuff to be more popular, and this card is just completely like destroyed that throughout format to format, because it's so good being able to bounce something, and then if not, you bounce the top security card, and then every time your opponent adds cards to their hand by an effect, so basically searching or anything like that, gain 1 memory for every 4 cards, so you can potentially like force your opponent to give them back turn right away. It's pretty busted. I feel like Mirage is a problem. I feel like it is the problem, which is why it would probably need to go to 1, and then potentially other cards like that Mock Gagumon could come off the list. Gallantmon X is doing pretty good. It's doing better in the Japanese format, which is why I talked about it. I'm not sure exactly what would need to get hit in this deck. I'm not sure. I don't think the Gallant X is the problem, but maybe it's BT12 or Growl. Maybe it's something else. The one card I did think about was Protoform. Protoform is such a good card. Being able to put itself back on top of the security stack, so you can add it back to your hand if your opponent attacks through. Being able to being able to reduce that Digivolution cost by 1, and being able to basically add a source back so you can have your line right after it gets killed. I feel like that is a potential good hit for a deck like this and for other decks that really make full use out of the proto form. And I definitely feel like there's something in Gallantmon that could potentially... See, I don't even know, because we're getting more support in BT21. So like this deck might change so much that any hit that they do would be irrelevant, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure. That's pretty much it. We talked, yeah. There's other cards I might have forgotten. I know Leviamon did well, but it hasn't really been topping. Dominimon does top, but it doesn't have huge numbers of tops. Like it's won an event if. So I just don't see anything else really that is that worries me. I mean, Hexablau is a card, but I feel like it's a fair card. I feel like other decks potentially are what make it broken, like the Galaxy Engine. If you deal with that, maybe Hexablau doesn't see as much play. We'll have to wait and see. March 16th is coming up. Let me know what you guys' thoughts on this. Let me know if let me know if you're excited about the ban list. We're finally getting one, and just let me know what you think about this list. Do you think I'm on par with any of my choices? Do you think I'm way out to lunch? Am I forgetting a bunch of stuff? Tell me down in the comments, and we'll continue to look forward to the new ban list, and as soon as it comes up, we will be doing a video and showing what did get hit. Were we right? Were we wrong? We'll have to wait and see. Looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope to see you in the next video. As always, have a wonderful day. That's all for now, folks.